Hello, welcome back to the Job Hunt LLC. Um, just for everyone's information, we are located in Arizona, in the Phoenix Valley, and as you all may know, in the Phoenix Valley, as of June 26, 2022, we are monsooning. There's clouds, negative energy. However, the Job Hunt LLC still shines through this monsoon like a beam of fucking sunlight. We just got one new employee last week. It took a little bit of hassling. He tried quitting right when we hired him, but Tyreek is doing great in the marketing department of things. And, I mean, the business is going great. Everything's going great. We're making money. We've actually raised our employees now to $2 an hour. Hey, I think that's pretty good. Let's start this off, though. We have another interview today. Here to join us is our Vice President, Dean. There's Dean, rather.
There's Dean.
There's
Yep.
Dean. And today we're interviewing someone very special. Very special. This man has charted his music. This man has created some great fucking music. 2 albums, one in 2018, one in 2020. And is the guitarist for Prime Society, the band, the man himself, Emilio or Function Space. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Are you ready for the
Fantastic.
fantastic.
Yes.
Wow.
What does fantastic entail, Dean? What is it?
I'm just excited to be here. I got my green 222 style shirt.
Oh,
You know what I
Love
mean?
it. Love
That's
it.
kind of what I had in mind, going before this interview. I was like, I want to wear a nice shade of green to kind of match the album cover. So
see,
Love
I
it.
would also partake in wearing green, but here's the problem. Oh, just a little colorblind, not too much. I wouldn't know if I'm wearing green or not.
I think you might be.
I might be. You never know.
Yeah.
Usually,
Cool. Yeah.
I have a question for you, really quick, Mr. Emilio or Function. Which one do you prefer for the interview?
You can just call me Emilio.
Perfect.
That's good. My name.
All right, Emilio. I have a question for you, really quick. Usually, I do some fancy ass entourage of my own, where when we're interviewing the artist, I'll wear the merch, but unfortunately, I don't own any Function Space merch. Do you have any merch?
No, I do not. It does not exist currently.
We got to get on that.
you got to get on that. Very
I
important.
know. I've had a couple people ask, so it's definitely something I want to do. I just don't really know what I would really do for it because I don't really have like a logo or anything, but I mean, could get a designer on it or something.
There you go. I mean, I've heard Dean talking about getting singing about something else, tattoo on his forehead. Tattoo on his forehead
Okay.
instead of just some merch. It just stays there
That's
forever.
pretty dedicated.
Very dedicated. Actually, tell us about that. You've been posting a lot on your Instagram about that single specifically, and how it hits the Spotify playlist. How does that feel for you?
It actually feels great. I mean, that's kind of what I've wanted to accomplish the past couple of years with music is getting onto a Spotify playlist because I feel like that's really what kickstarts a lot of people's careers nowadays. It's definitely the most, I would say, legit way to get your Spotify music in front of a large audience. And it was really unexpected when it happened, because normally you have the Spotify for Artists app, and once you have an upcoming song, it'll get onto your app, and then you can pitch it to the Spotify editors for playlists.
Oh, okay.
And I've done that with pretty much all my releases. Just kind of you put together what genre it is, what mood it is, kind of sends it to them before it gets released, and they listen to all of them, but they get thousands of them every day. And they do recommend pitching it at least 7 days before it comes out. With this particular song, I was trying to get it out. I kind of just wanted to get it out. So it came up on my Spotify for Artists. I think it was like 4 days before it came out. And I still pitched it and everything. And I was like, okay, you know, it's out there. They
Very
might hear
nice.
it. And then 2 weeks later, it got put onto those. It was on Fresh Finds and Fresh Finds Indie.
There's all like fucking great places to be, honestly. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine
Sick.
like how I would feel if like one of my songs got on a playlist like that, even after a pitch. Dean,
It was
yeah,
crazy because and I didn't even know at first because I kind of just look at my app, you know, every now and then. It gives you data like every day, just kind of like how many listeners you have.
right.
But it does have a little thing that shows like how many people listening now. So like I kind of just like check that every once in a while. So I went in the app. Usually it'll be like 7 people, maybe 10 people if it's like, you know, Discover Weekly Monday or whatever. And I go on the app and it's like 35 people listening.
Ooh,
So I was like, okay, what's going on? Maybe this is like a blip or something.
right.
And I thought Spotify like emailed you or whatever when they put you on playlists. So I hadn't like heard anything. So I checked back a little bit later and it was still at like 35 and it was like going up like every couple minutes to like 40. I was like, okay, what's going on? I'm gonna try to like investigate
Yeah.
this. So I just did like a quick search on Spotify, like a name search, like my own name. So I typed in like FUNC and it came up as like a suggestion, and then it said featuring function space, like and then it showed the 2 playlists. Like,
Oh,
oh, so then I clicked on it and it was like the main like Fresh Finds playlist, and I was like the 5th song down, and I was
right.
just like kind of just blacked out for a second because I was like at my desk at work. It was on like a Wednesday, and I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. Holy fuck. Yeah, like that's a huge
Yeah,
moment right there.
it was a huge moment.
Okay. I was gonna what was I gonna say? Oh my god, I'm losing my train of thought right now. But we talked about the charting and we talked about the like the Spotify playlist and with that single, but I, we have to start this interview off a certain way, a specific way. Dean, do you want to start us off?
All right, Emilio, tell us about yourself. You
Tell
may
us
not know
about
where to
yourself.
start. You might not know where to start, but wherever you feel comfortable starting, that's where you should start.
Okay. So I was born in Arizona. Lived here almost my whole life. Lived in Florida for 3 years and then moved back. So here most of my life. Grew up in East Valley. Started playing music. I was probably like 7 or 8. I had this friend, this girl who was like 3 years older than me. Really got me into like, it was like Green Day, like that, the music of the time. Like American Idiot was like the first album I bought for myself. And we were gonna like form a band, and I was gonna play drums originally, just kind of randomly. I was like, all right, I'll just play drums. So I wanted to get a drum set, and then I eventually was looking around, and then kind of decided like I wanted to play guitar instead for some reason. So I bought my first guitar, which was this BC Rich Warlock, and it had like, it's like black with like red flames.
Right.
Like, I don't know why I bought that as my first guitar, but just kind of caught my eye.
Because it was
And
freaking sick. That's why.
That's
yeah,
what
it
I'm
looked
saying.
sick. Like I was in the music store where I like took guitar lessons at, and it was just like hanging on the wall. I'm like, I want to buy that like someday. And I couldn't have done it if I hadn't. I was babysitting a neighbor's dog for like a week, and for some reason they paid me like $100 for doing it, and it was like way more than I thought I was gonna get. So that helped out, and I ended up buying the guitar. And I took lessons for probably about 4 years, and I was kind of learning like rock and stuff like that. My teacher was really good with music theory though. So he taught me a lot of stuff about scales and, you know, theory and all that stuff, which was really good because a lot of guitar players like don't learn that sometimes. Like you
Right.
kind of just play tabs and, you know, go off like the numbers. But knowing the actual music theory was actually really good.
Oh, of course.
And then I kind of just kept playing. I practiced a lot. My parents, I mean, they definitely encouraged it because I mean they were paying for the lessons and stuff, but they liked to like hear me play and stuff like that. And from there, I kind of just kept going. I joined the jazz band in middle school and high school, only because it was the only band in school that had you could actually play guitar in, because the
Right.
other ones were, you know, marching band,
Orchestra.
wind ensemble, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I joined those, and that actually really helped me learning a lot of the chords and things that I use now, because it's a lot of jazz chords, it's a lot of, you know, major sevens, 13s, all that kind of stuff. And learning that at that kind of younger age really helped out. And then yeah, I kind of started writing more music. The first stuff I was writing was more very guitar based, instrumental stuff. I was really big into like Metallica and like Joe Satriani and like those kind of
Right.
areas, as a guitar player. And then I kind of started singing because I had this friend that we made a band with, and like for some odd reason he was he was really into like One Direction, which was kind of interesting to me, but they had a lot of good songs, and it kind of put me on to like pop music in a way,
Right.
which I think I was a little bit, I don't know, condescending towards pop music when I was like a teenager, because I was like, oh, it's just so like basic and it's so overrated. It's not even like technical or whatever.
Yeah.
Typical kind of like metal guitar player looking at it that way. But I kind of started to appreciate it more, and we just kind of started writing songs together, and I started like singing and just kind of learning, like teaching myself that. And we actually took like a couple vocal lessons together too, which actually really helped, even only taking like 2 or 3 of them. And then I kind of branched off from that and started making stuff on my own. I probably had 3 or 4 different projects before this one, that I just either posted on like SoundCloud or Spotify even, with like different names, different genres,
Right.
kind of just trying new stuff until something stuck, which I feel like this one is definitely stuck, and it's like something I could see myself doing. It kind of just like all the roads led to here. Doing like, I did EDM before. I've done like, I guess you could call it like disco type music. I've done like singer songwriter stuff, acoustic stuff, a lot of different things where it's kind of just like what I was into at the time, and then it kind of moved on from that. Even with like the Function Space project, the first album I did, it's pretty different from like what I'm doing now. It was more like, I guess you could say like synth pop kind of stuff. Like it's very more produced, and it's like more I don't know, like 80s
Yeah.
influence kind of stuff. And then I wrote this song called Losing You, which is on my 222 album. It was like the first song I did in that kind of style. Like I was like, I kind of just want to make like a bedroom pop song. Like I was really into at that time like Boy Pablo, Rex Orange County, Gus Dapperton, like those kind of guys.
Right.
And I kind of just started with that song. I was like, yeah, more of just like an experiment in a way. Like, can I make something like this? And
Right.
I posted it, and a lot of people really liked it. Like it was like more so than anything else I'd ever made. So I was like, maybe I should just start making this kind of music, which I was really getting into at the time too. So I even considered like changing the name or like doing a different project again because it felt like a change in genre. But I was like, oh, I'll just stick with it. Like it's a decent name. I already have stuff out. So kind of just did that and started doing like song covers and stuff on not YouTube, but Twitter. And there was a point where it was probably like late 2019, early 2020. I started doing just like vocal guitar covers and stuff, like kind of small clips just on Twitter. And I started getting like a pretty big following from that. Like there was a couple, I think the first one that really popped off for me was Electric Feel by MGMT. I did like a bass cover of it.
Ooh.
And the tweet got like 10,000 likes.
Damn.
And I started getting like a bunch of followers off it. Like I get 200-300 followers from like a viral tweet. And I just started doing like more just songs. Like I did a cover of like Cigarette Daydreams by Cage the Elephant. Like I started doing Rex Orange County songs. Like I did Sunflower. Like I probably did that like 2 or 3 different times, like different parts of the song. And every time I posted it would go pretty crazy. Like it would get, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 likes on a tweet. And so I kept going on that account and I probably peaked at like 20,000 followers. And then just because of all the copyright strikes that it had, it ended up getting suspended.
Oh,
So
No way.
I think I
damn.
had like probably 9 copyright strikes. So it they get you, like they'll get you for even a video that's like 2 years old.
Wow.
Because I went through and tried to delete all the ones that had an actual song track in it. Because sometimes I did a cover of like a Bruno Mars song and I had like the song in the background and I was playing guitar over it. And they got me for that and it was like 2 years old. It was
I
like a
didn't know
DMCA.
Twitter copyright strikes.
They do. They're actually one of the only social medias that does that anymore.
Wow.
They don't really license songs like that. Like TikTok is fine. Like you can pretty much post anything on there. They have all the songs licensed.
Right.
YouTube, they just put like a disclaimer that it has the song in it. But Twitter's, I think, like the only one where they just like take it down completely.
Right. Because Twitter isn't one of those platforms that's like meant for like videos and stuff. I mean, Twitter's just like meant for tweets. So I could see like
Basically,
how
yeah.
there's like complications with that and everything.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the best platform to be doing it on. It was a lot of very good like instant gratification. Like you post something, it's like you kind of see it start snowballing like right after you post it, and then you start getting followers and stuff rolling in, which is like really nice. But then obviously like the tweet will die out after like 2 days at the most. So like that got me a lot of followers and it got me a lot of listeners and stuff on Spotify because I had a music video that I posted on there for my song Maybe that I made like a Guitar Hero chart to, and I posted the music video and I pinned it to my profile. So that one actually over time built up a lot of views and likes because I just had it pinned.
Right.
And that kind of directed people to like my Spotify and stuff. So that kind of got me going on there. Like it started getting on like Discover Weekly and stuff like that for that song. So that really helped. And then it kind of started like establishing like a regular amount of like listeners that I would have. But then once it got suspended, it kind of started going down, but in a sense, like I got to the point where the Spotify listeners, it kind of started like sustaining itself because there was enough like user playlists and stuff that I was on that they would regularly listen to it. And I didn't really need like to be posting on Twitter and like trying to go viral every week, which it was nice when I had that, but I could feel it kind of starting to fall off a little bit because it's like I felt like there was only so many songs that I could do. And I felt like during the pandemic too, like people started caring about other things than, song covers on Twitter. But
right. Because your album 222 or 222, it came out in February of 2020, right? like right before that pandemic hit. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
that
it was
was
like weeks. Yeah, a couple weeks before it.
yeah. I feel like that's such like a crazy time to like have music out. 'Cause I know there were a bunch of
Mhm.
artists like that month, like January and February was like a hot time for music to come out in 2020. And I
It
feel
was.
like with the pandemic, it definitely like took a toll on like
Mhm.
what's like like the progress of the like of how the songs being distributed and like listeners and things of that nature. Um but yeah, no, I completely agree.
Mhm. Yeah, and it did pretty well like when it first started out, and I had a lot of friends who were listening to it and retweeting it and stuff like that. Um, so it was good. I mean, that like sustained for a while, and then I put out a couple songs. I put another one out in like August of that year, um, and then a couple months later, like two more singles, and then I didn't put one out for a while until maybe like September of last year, and then my most recent one I did 3 weeks ago or so. So there's kind of some gaps in there, but I've been kind of I was trying to like build the audience back a little more before dropping more music.
Right.
So I started on TikTok. I started getting more involved on there just because I felt like it was more sustainable than using Twitter, because you don't really get copyright strike or anything.
Exactly.
Um, so it's a little different on TikTok though. You can't really like the videos that would do really well on Twitter for me was just literally just a straight up cover of the song. Like it would be just the title of the song, me playing it. If it did well, it would, it would get like 10K likes or whatever. But on TikTok, you kind of have to be a little bit more creative. Like I started doing like like I wouldn't say skits, like more like lists and things like that. Like I'd say like, oh, guitarists in like different genres and do
Right.
like 5 different clips with like titles and stuff over them. Those would probably do the best for me. So I'm kind of trying to do more of those. But then also throwing in like every now and then, like, this is like an original song or whatever, which like those don't do as well, but I mean, some people enjoy it. So,
Exactly. The fans on TikTok and the fans on Twitter are they're like pretty insane. Like I
mm,
was talking to Dean, who are we talking about like Twitter? Oh, Rosal Toddy.
Yeah.
About like how you cannot have an opinion on Twitter and it's like
yeah.
super hard to like promote your own music because you're gonna get shut down. Like, it's
Mm,
just crazy how it works. Someone's always gonna like throw a missile at you and be like, oh yeah, like why would you even post this, or like, and like really like downgrades your ego. On TikTok though, that creativity that you were talking about, like when you're making the lists and stuff, it's crazy how it works. I haven't had TikTok in like 6 months now, but it's crazy how it works. You can post a concept so simple,
mm,
and I'm like, I'll be scrolling, I'll be like, oh, like why do I want to watch this? But I still watch it. That's
yeah.
like the psychology behind TikTok right there. They like that algorithm knows what it's doing, and like that style of posting is like really good. But then the second you post one of your like, oh, this is one of my like official songs, like this is out on Spotify, like they'll flame you for it because it's something they've never seen and they're not ready to like get used to it or like adapt to like a new song or like add a new song to their library.
Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of been my experience where if you do like covers or you do stuff that people know, they really enjoy it and it has the potential to like go viral and things like that. But if you post like, oh, this is an original song or whatever, like the algorithm doesn't seem to like it. Like it doesn't like I'll post an original song or whatever and it'll just get, I don't know, 50 likes. But you post like I'll do one of those guitar videos or whatever and it'll get 1,000 plus or whatever. So I think people, yeah, they don't take as kindly, or the algorithm
Mm,
doesn't at least.
Yeah.
yeah. That kind of brings me to my next question. So do you tend to use a platform more based on like what the audience likes and like what you're getting the most feedback on and stuff like that? Do you tend to use like that platform more, or do you just kind of like, fall more with like the algorithm and just see what works with that?
Um, I think I definitely tend to go towards ones that people are responding the best to.
Mhm.
And kind of trying to go in that direction. Like I think I've done that with a lot of stuff I've released where if something does really well, I try to do something similar. Like
Mm.
not exactly copy it, but like try to get that same energy. And then like if a video is doing well on TikTok, say, okay, maybe I can try to do a part two of that video and like get onto TikTok that way.
Right.
And then
Right.
sometimes I'll post the video like to Instagram, like just to post it. Like it usually doesn't do well, but there's like a chance that it could. But I would say probably at the moment, like TikTok, I'm focusing the most on because I feel like that has the most potential.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I know Instagram has like the reels and stuff like that too, which
Mhm.
also like those have been pretty effective from what I've seen at least. But
Yeah, yeah, I definitely get some love from the reels sometimes because they sometimes will promote them more, like just for some random reason. Like I'll post one and it'll somehow get to like 4,000 views in like an hour because it was just like the algorithm was like boosting it, and then it'll just like completely stop, which is really bizarre to me, but it's happened many times. Which it helps. I mean, you get, I don't know, you get like 3 or 4 followers, and then it's time to do the next video.
Right. Exactly. I feel like the audience, like the way TikTok's made is like it sends its videos out to a specific audience, but then Instagram is just like you're gonna watch this video and you're gonna like it. Like I'm
Yeah.
guilty. Like I deleted TikTok just because I didn't like the productivity demolition that it did to me. But I'll
Mhm.
be on Instagram Reels sometimes, and it's just like, all right, you're gonna watch this like Shark Tank video. I don't want to watch a Shark Tank video. Like that's completely just out of my interest. Or like you're gonna watch like the greatest like soccer scores in history. It's like I don't want to watch that. That's completely out of my interest. But when you're on TikTok, it shoots at a specific audience. And so like
Yeah.
that's like it's more like trustworthy. Whereas Instagram is kind of just like random and it's hard to like get big on Instagram. Like that's not something that you normally do.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too, is like just for the sole reason that you can't on Instagram, you can't really get like retweeted or reposted by like a large account. Like maybe they could post you on their story or something, but that's why I started with Twitter because I was like, well, if someone retweets it, it just goes to a completely new audience
Right.
like every time. TikTok, I it's kind of similar. Like what I've heard anecdotally about the algorithm is like if someone with a lot of followers likes your TikTok or comments on it, it can be kind of sent out to their followers. It
right.
favors more of that. Um, yeah, there's so much that goes into it, but like I think the algorithm on TikTok is much more fine tuned
I
depending
think
on
you
the
can
videos you like.
I think you can actually repost on TikTok now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe it has that function for I don't know if it's like for certain videos, like videos that you like if you make a video, you can like, make all the options for like whether they can share on like Snapchat or Instagram and stuff like that. But I think they actually like included like a function where you can actually like repost it, like under
Hmm.
your profile and then like your followers can actually see it. So
Oh
Oh, that's
wow.
pretty cool.
so
That
that
could
hey,
change the game.
that could change the game.
Again,
And the
TikTok
thing with
knows
TikTok,
exactly what they're doing.
yeah, and like the thing with TikTok is like the number of followers you have like almost doesn't matter because you people are only watching their For You page. They're not. I mean, I guess personally, I don't really. I try to knock out my For You page just because it. I mean, just because the algorithm is so good that it'll suck you in for hours.
Right.
Uh, I try to just I go to my following usually just so I can watch like my friends' TikToks. But I know a lot of people like probably don't do that. Like they go to mostly their For You page, which will show you stuff from people that you follow, but only if it's like something that it would think you're interested in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that the For You page isn't like, oh, like you might like this. The For You page is like, I know for a fucking fact you're gonna like this video. So you're gonna stay on our For You page. You're gonna stay on our app,
Yeah, it's like uncanny in that way where like it just knows exactly what types of videos that you're gonna like.
Exactly. And I've been seeing some promotion on your end from your new single, and it's kind of cool to see like the behind the scenes of like your promotion approach now. Because
Hmm.
I saw you do the acoustic cover of the song,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, like that's really cool that he did that. You know, but like now I can see like it makes perfect sense why you're doing stuff like that. You know, it's like it's you like your like reach out approach, your like marketing is like
Hmm.
very good
Thank you.
by doing
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I try to kind of just go with what I think will work. Like, um, especially in TikTok. I think the live version of the song, like it did pretty well. I think for being an original song, because that's kind of like what I used to do on Twitter too. Like I would do live versions of my own songs, and those actually would do pretty well. Because they were pretty similar to like the cover videos I was doing in terms of like the sound and kind of just like the structure. Um, yeah, I'm kind of trying to take like whatever approach I can. Like I did I tried doing a TikTok where, you know how some people on TikTok they're like, oh my record label is like making me make a TikTok for
Yeah.
like every day. So I like did that just to be like funny. But I don't have a label, so I kind of just at the end I was like, oh, just kidding, I don't have a label. But I just
Yeah.
had like this big block of text with like the song playing in the background, and it did okay, but not as well as I would have hoped.
Yeah. I've seen like some like certain artists who just like skyrocket from TikTok. And when I like think about like mass popularity right off of TikTok, the first artist I think of is Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she like I think if you're the main thing you want to do with TikTok is like having your song as like a sound on there and getting it used in a bunch of videos or like someone creating a dance to it or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what happened to like Giveon in a way.
Yeah.
With like Heartbreak Anniversary, that got huge on TikTok. There's like a bunch of artists that are like that. There's actually a video recently by Vox that was talking about um, the TikTok to record label pipeline for artists. And they looked at like 100 something artists that like went like viral basically on TikTok, and probably at least half of them got like pretty major like label
Like
offers.
signings.
Yeah, and a lot of times they don't take them because they're still, I feel like the industry is still kind of behind in a way where like they're gonna say like, oh yeah, we're still gonna take like 80% of your revenues or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
they
yeah.
get
You don't
like a
win.
cash advance. Yeah, they give them like a cash advance, but then you have to pay it back like later on with sales, which like there's no music sales anymore. Like it's streaming and it's touring and merch. Like there's not a lot of ways to make money.
Right.
But
Especially at first. Like when you're just starting off, that's the hardest point in a career. Like trying to get people to like notice what you're doing and like what your work is. And if you're taking like
mhm.
a more avant-garde approach to like a genre that you're trying to hit or like a target audience that you're trying to hit, it's like it's even harder after that
Yeah.
because people aren't used to change and people like typically they don't like to change, you know. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember starting out back in the day too, like 2018 when I first put that album out. I mean, I was getting 4 or 5 people listening to it. Like it's really hard to start, which like I feel like I was pretty lucky to where I could do those covers and get like a couple viral tweets that just kind of like kickstarted like having at least like a presence online where you have like kind of an audience, and it kind of starts to like sustain itself. Where if you're just starting out, like yeah, you might get a few people to check it out, but it's really hard. Like I was getting, I mean, a lot of people that start out, if you just put it onto Spotify cold and you have no social media or like nothing, like it's no one's gonna hear it. Like
It's
it's just, that's the
impossible.
reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And have you seen the Kanye West documentary yet?
I haven't actually. I've seen a couple like tweets about it, but it looks pretty interesting. Like
It,
there's a couple like
yeah, it
yeah.
was very interesting. I loved it. I watched all 3 episodes of it, and in the first 2 episodes highlights like his like kickstart into
Mhm.
things, and so he was like a good producer, but every time he sang, they were like, "Oh no, you need to stop doing this. Like just like stick to the beats, and like you'll do great in producing." And
Mhm.
the only way he was able to like put his name out there was by like influencing the fact that like he knows Jay-Z. Like
Yeah.
he met Jay-Z, and like he kind of used Jay-Z as like a leverage to like get up a little bit more until
Yeah.
like he hit the point where like he was able to go to the label. And the label didn't like his song at first, the one that he showed them. Was it Through the Wire? I think it was Through the Wire. But it was one of the songs off of College Dropout. But like it's an example like that. Like back in that time, 2002, 2003, you were not like there was no chance you were gonna like blow up like that. It was very hard. But
Oh
now
yeah.
with the allowance
Yeah.
of social media and like TikTok, Twitter, things like that, it's definitely making it a lot easier.
Oh, definitely. Like for anyone, because
Yeah,
I mean, back then the only way was like getting on a label, which like a lot of those screwed a lot of artists over also. So like now, I think the independent artists, they have a lot more leverage to get better deals, like if they want them, or they can just like if they're getting, you know, a million listeners a month and they have no label, then it's like why would they want to be on a label if they have their own
exactly.
audience? It's it's a good thing, I think, overall. It's giving the industry more, well, the artist more leverage, and then the industry um not like screwing them over as much.
Exactly. Exactly. And I want to talk about like speaking of, promotion. Um, we all know the monster that came onto the world, COVID-19. I hate talking about that guy, but Jesus Christ, he fucking sucks. Like he kind of like put all of us in a dumpster, and like he shut down
Killed
like
the,
the Job Hunt LLC in 2020, and we like restarted it because of that. Like COVID, it kind of just like ruined our lives. But
killed the vibe.
exactly, 222 came out on 222. You know, February 20th. I mean, it's genius. But talk about like kind of like the process of like, well, I kind of want to know two things. We'll get on the second thing after, but the first thing is like the promotion of that and like trying to get that out when there's that like huge thing of like mass hysteria going on. But I mean,
Mhm.
how was that for you?
Well, I kind of started as like me wanting to get all of my singles that I put out into a cohesive project. And then I had like two other songs that I hadn't released yet that I just like put onto the album, um, which is kind of like, it felt like the natural progression to me where I'm like, okay, I have like 5 songs out. Um, like I'm getting a pretty good audience on Twitter now. Like probably at that point, I was, maybe close to like 20K followers. And it felt like I could, if I were to put it all into an album and then release it again, it kind of gives like new life to those singles and stuff that I'd released, you know,
Like a while
over the
ago.
past, yeah, over the past like year. Because I think I actually put out the song "Losing You," which was the first one off that album. I put it out February 22nd of 2019, so it was like a year before that.
Oh.
Um, and I just kind of put them all together on the album, and it felt like that date was coming up, and I'm like, okay, that's like a good date. And I didn't really have a name for it, and actually like my girlfriend at the time came up with it, and she's like, oh, it's like angel numbers or whatever. And I was like, okay, that works. It fits the vibe, and put it out on 222, which was that's actually my grandfather's birthday.
Oh.
And my birthday is 2/2. So it was kind of like a big, it was like a numerology,
It's good luck.
all came together. Yeah.
Right. No,
And
exactly.
yeah, and I guess like promoting it, I mean, I didn't really have too much of a plan going into it. I was like, well, I'm gonna tweet it, obviously. Tweet it like leading up to it. Probably do some song covers or like live versions of like the newer songs. Put the Spotify link under the tweet. I wasn't really on TikTok at that time, but I was on Instagram, so I was gonna post it on there too. Yeah, I didn't really have any huge plans for promoting it. It kind of just felt like, I'm just putting all these songs together, putting it out into an album for the people who are like already listening to them.
Right.
They're like, here's an album. You don't have to make your own playlist of these songs. This is how it's like I want it to be ordered and like put together. And it got like a pretty good response. Like a lot of my friends liked it. Like I was in a group chat on Twitter with some people, and they were helping me like kind of retweet it and promote it, which was cool too.
Right.
A couple of them, one of my friends on Twitter, I think he has like 200K followers now.
Ooh.
Back then he was a pretty big fan of it. Like he really liked the album. And he like helped by kind of like retweeting a couple things. But it's the combined reach of everyone really helps.
That's amazing. So you said like your 222, it was like a cohesive project. Like you got the songs that you've released before, you added a couple new ones. But do you ever plan on, because I know you're doing a lot on the side with like Prime Society. I mean, you guys perform, it has to be once every 3 days. It's crazy. You guys
That's
are
what it
all
felt
over
like.
the place.
Yeah, we did a little run there for a little bit.
Do you ever think you might take the time to like produce or like release like an LP, something like 13 songs, for example?
I definitely want to do that. I think my problem is that I'm very impatient when it comes to music. Like whenever I have a song, like if it sounds really good to me, I just want to like put out like a demo or like a snippet or whatever to like get people's response on it. Cause it's like I don't think I've ever put out a song on Spotify without actually tweeting basically the entire song first.
Yeah.
Like I've done that for the past few singles where I'm like, oh, here's like a demo for a song that I'm working on, and it's just literally the entire
The
song
entire song.
on Twitter for free. And then it's the same thing that I put on Spotify later, where I'm like, basically this is just my way of like feeling it out to see like, okay, do people actually like this?
But that's still a
And
good thing. That's still a good thing because like it like if the first example that I could think about immediately is when Donda came, or like when Donda was like coming out and there was like that hype about it, like, oh, like Donda's about to come out. I know I'm talking about Kanye West a lot, but it's just the first thing that come up. The song on Donda, Junior, I saw someone take a video of Kanye's first listening event. And he was playing Junior, and I was like, holy shit, I need this song. Like I need this song to come out. And the song's
Yep.
only like what, a minute and a half long, 2 minutes, and like or like an hour, not an hour, a minute and 30 seconds of it was already on TikTok. And I just found myself constantly going back to the TikTok to like hear that snippet. And then he posted the song and I was like, thank God. And I still listen to that song just as much on Spotify just because now I like had easy access to the song. So I think it's still a good thing that like you can put the whole song on like Twitter and it's just like, oh, like if someone catches it, it's like, oh, this is great. And they keep coming back to that tweet. You then put it on Spotify, Apple Music, anything. They'll go to that immediately and like keep listening.
Yeah, they're very grateful for that. Like once you do that, if they really like it. And I definitely, I think that's like for me at least, has been a good strategy because like I do that too with like unreleased songs. Like if it's just like something on YouTube, or it's like a live performance or like whatever, it's like wow, like I wish this was on Spotify, because it's like I can go back to YouTube and listen to it, but it's not convenient.
It's not convenient, exactly.
Yeah, and like I figure if I can just put it out, people can listen to it, like download it if they want or whatever, and if they like it, then they'll come back for it if it's on Spotify. It's not like you're like ruining it. It's not like it's like a movie or something that's being like leaked.
Exactly.
I think that's the difference with like music. It's very like replayable, which I really like that about it. It's different. I mean, there's movies that you can watch many times, but like in general, I feel like once you watch a movie, it's kind of like the value of it goes down. But like with music, it's almost like you could like I'll still listen to the same playlist from years ago multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing about the medium, the art form.
I have an interesting question for you. Do you prefer Origins or do you prefer 222?
Ooh.
That's a very good question because I have thought about that a lot also. I felt like Origins, at least at the time, that was like the music that I wanted to make like for myself. Like I was like, I really like making this. I like it's not like I would like listen to it because it's like feels weird, but it's like music that I would listen to, and I was like proud of it in a way because it was like stuff that I wanted to make, and I think
It's like your child.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your baby. Like you have it, and you're like, this is exactly everything that I wanted to put into it. If other people like it, that's cool. But yeah, I felt like that was truly like what I was wanting to make. And then with 222, I think I've definitely appreciated it more like over time. Cause I guess when I first started making the songs, I was like, okay, this is a good style of music. I'm starting to really like it. People are liking it. I definitely want to start making it more like my own and adding in stuff, like making it more complex and adding in things that I like.
Right.
And as I've gotten like more into that style of music, I think at this present moment probably prefer 222, just with kind of like where my taste is at. But there's always like a spot like in my heart for stuff that I made over the years.
Right.
And there's a spot in my Spotify for 222. You know why? Because like when I took a shower this morning, and when I got out and I was doing like my routine and everything, I had the album on,
Nice.
and I was just like listening to the project, and I was standing by my fucking sink doing like some like hippity hoppity like bullshit, like with the toothbrush in my mouth and everything. Like it was crazy. I mean, like I think it's really cool that you brought up Boy Pablo in
Yeah.
the influence for 222, because me and Dean, we've been friends since we were like 2. No, I'm kidding. We've been friends since like high school, but like we both like were part of a group where from, I shit you not, 2017 to 2019, we were just listening to indie music. And it was like it had a grip on us. But then everyone I've asked outside of that have had that exact same experience. They're like, oh, like I had this like indie music phase. And it's like it's not even like a phase for me. I love that shit still.
No, yeah, me too. Like the second that I watched the Boy Pablo music video every time, the one where they're like on the dock and they're like the sun's in their eyes,
right?
I was like, I literally sent that to everyone I knew like the first time I saw it. I was like, this is like incredible. Like I had never really seen anything like it before. Like it was just really, it was really unique, and it was really it didn't take itself too seriously, and I think I took a lot of inspiration from that.
I've also seen you post about the band Hers. Rest in peace to Hers. But do you take like strong influence from them as well? Because I feel like I can like very closely relate your guys' music.
Definitely. And the weird thing is, I hadn't really listened to them at all before I made a lot of the songs on 222.
Oh.
But then going back, there's like a lot of similarities. Like it's almost embarrassing to a point where I listened to the song Harvey, and it's very similar to my song Should Have. Like the melodies and like the keys are like actually almost like the key is the same. And then looking back, I'm like, wow, it feels like I almost like stole this from them, but like I hadn't heard it before.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
there's no
like,
proving that in the end.
yeah, there's no legal precedent, but
Yeah.
yeah, it felt like wow. And it like I started getting into them like kind of later on. Because I think honestly, I mean, I had heard of them a little bit, but the first time I really like heard about them was like the article that they had like passed away, and then I started getting into their stuff, and I was like, wow, like I can't believe I like missed all this, you know?
Yeah. Such a shame. That song, What Once Was, had the entirety of like Southwest United States in a fucking chokehold. Los Angeles, Tucson, Phoenix. It had all of us in a chokehold. But like you said, I didn't hear the name until after they like passed away, but I knew that song. Like my mom had been singing it to me since I was a year old. Like that's crazy. You know?
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, it's like timeless. Like
Yeah.
I don't know like what, like how they came up with all that, but it's crazy. And it was crazy that it was like here. It was in like Phoenix too.
Yeah.
It was like it was on the way from a show in Phoenix to LA, I think it was.
That's crazy. Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
that shit's so sad. I hate hearing about it. Any genre, any artist, when they pass away, it just sucks to hear. You know?
I know. Yeah, that one hit me really hard. I think probably more than like any other kind of like celebrity, or like it was very like felt very personal.
Right. With your other album, Origins, I have to ask. Okay, I listened to it and I'm like, I'm weird. Like I'm just a weird guy. And I don't know, Dean. Like I don't know if you can agree with me on this, but I was kind of getting some like Michael Jackson from it.
Interesting.
Like
There was I would say so, because like I don't know if it was at that time or maybe just around that time, like I was probably getting into it a little bit, like 80s pop had
Right.
like a big influence. I was listening to a lot of like synthwave music at that time.
I love synthwave.
Yeah, like Home, like a couple other ones. Like there was like these like synthwave mixes that were on YouTube that were like an hour and a half, and I would just download them and like put them on my phone and just listen to them.
Jesus
And
Christ.
it was getting like a big influence from that. I think definitely with like a lot of the keyboard sounds and stuff that I use in there, with like those electric keyboards and things like that, and like the different chords, very influenced by like 80s pop, which definitely Michael Jackson falls into that.
Yeah, no, I was definitely feeling like all the 80s vibes from it, and like obviously like I'm a huge like geek for nostalgia stuff like that. So obviously I loved it, but I didn't necessarily narrow it down to like Michael Jackson per se, but I was like, ooh, like got a little bit of synthwave in there. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
What was another question that I had? Oh, so I know you mentioned like Rex Orange County and like Boy Pablo being some of your influences. Would you also include Young the Giant in there too? Because I was listening to
Ooh.
I was listening to 222 today, and obviously, you know, because like I want to like go back and listen to everything before the interview and stuff like that. But would you say like Young the Giant is like also another influence? Because I get kind of like a similar sound there.
Actually, yeah, Young the Giant. If you go to my Spotify most played artists of all time, they might be like number 1 or 2, to be honest.
Wow.
So you're spot on with that.
Yeah.
I think probably their self-titled, probably my favorite by them. I was really into that back in like 2015 or so.
Mhm.
I probably listened to that album like I don't even know how many times, but Yeah, like Apartment, a couple of the tracks on kind of like the second half of the album, like so good and like
Oh yeah.
underrated, I think.
Have you ever seen their live show at Mesa Amphitheater? I know they do it
I
all
was
the
just
time
gonna
over
say
there.
that.
The one at like their actual performance at Mesa Amphitheater.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like a video of it, but I have seen them live at the Marquee once in 2017, and then I saw them
Wow.
at the Van Buren in 2018. And I gotta say, it's definitely like one of the best live shows I've seen. Like their singer is just so crazy good. Like
Oh yeah.
I literally thought he was lip syncing with like how good it sounded
Yeah.
just like live.
What was his name? I forgot what his name was.
Samir Gadia.
That's
I
what it
think.
was.
He's a Stanford dropout, I think.
Jesus Christ. I mean, well, if I knew that was happening to me, I would fucking drop out too. That's easy.
Yeah. I think they're really cool because they're very like multicultural. They like come from a lot of different backgrounds, and they bring like a lot of that into their music. And
Right.
I think it's very like there's like a lot of deeper like levels to it because it's like yeah, they had a couple songs that were like, you know, pretty big hits. Like you had Cough Syrup, you had My
Right.
Body. But some of their other stuff is like you look into like the guitar chords and like the guitar parts of all their stuff, and it's like it's pretty complex and it's actually like really interesting and like really good.
Yeah.
And you just combine that with his voice and songwriting, it's
Exactly.
crazy.
Like Dean fucking Harrison. Me, Dean, Harrison, our friend Harrison. He was actually at the show at the Nile Theater. With the
Okay.
Water Drive with Tyreek and Zahir. You might have seen him. He has like kind of like the long hair. We were both like kind of like doing our like dancey shit when you guys were like performing.
I think so.
But
Yeah.
he's he's a like a class action guitarist. Like this guy is like a phenomenal guitarist. And what he does is if he goes to a show, like he likes more like metal music, but if
Yeah.
he goes to a show, he like insists either after or during to like buy their books, like their sheet music.
Yeah, he loves sheet music.
Do you ever find yourself doing that?
I mean, I definitely when I like an artist or like a song, I definitely try to go learn the song and play it. I wouldn't say I go as far as like buying the sheet music, but I definitely will look up the guitar tabs or try to like work it out and just like play along with it because it's like if I really like the song, it's like yeah, I definitely want to like just jam on it, you know?
Right.
Right. Because you do a ton of covers, I mean.
Yeah, and I've done a couple Young the Giant. I've actually done on my old Twitter. I did Cough Syrup, and I might have done another one. I can't remember. But yeah, huge Young the Giant head.
And
Do you
that's
guys
like,
know?
oh sorry.
Do you guys know the Jakes? Well, it was the name of Young the Giant before they were Young the Giant.
Oh,
There's an EP on YouTube only called The Jakes Shake My Hand, and it's basically like it's almost like demos for some of the Young the Giant songs, and then it has some that didn't make it, but it's actually really good, like from start to finish. It's got it has Cough Syrup on there.
Wow.
It has their song Garen's, and it was like a little bit different. There's a song called Sweet Tea or something like that. It's really good. I recommend it highly, but it's really good from start to finish.
very much so.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
because I didn't know that. I didn't know they were called the Jakes first. Jake My Hand is also clever as fuck. Jake.
No, I think it's actually called Shake My Hand. Not Jake My Hand. But that's a missed opportunity
that is a missed opportunity right there. They should have done that shit. But I have a question about, because you're with Prime Society like yeah, you're the guitarist, you know, when you are with that band, does everyone have like different like inspirations, or is everyone kind of just like from the same like they all like kind of know what the sound is that they want? Because I feel like you listen to like Boy Pablo and like Young the Giant, for example, like they're just general examples.
Mhm.
But then the other people in the band might listen to like other types of music and want the music to sound like that. Do you guys like all have like a different like thing that you're going for, or is everyone kind of like on the same page?
I would say we're definitely from different influences. I would say they're the main genre is kind of like neo soul. I would probably put it into that. And we definitely do a lot. We'll do covers and stuff from kind of a range of genres. We've done Frank Ocean songs.
Right. I saw you guys perform Self Control on the stage. I saw that
Yeah,
video.
yeah, that was pretty lit. Yeah, and Shy saying that he killed it. And then we've done an Arctic Monkeys. We did Do I Want to Know? So there's like a little bit of that kind of rock alternative
Right.
influence. I think it kind of goes into a lot of their songs too, because our sax player Wallace, he mentioned like he's like all you guys' songs are in like punk keys. Well, I think what he meant by that is like they're in like rock keys.
Right.
Like if you're on guitar, like it'd be in like the key of E or something.
Yeah.
And he's like he comes from jazz, so he's like, well, everything in jazz is in like B flat or E flat. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like you guys, it's more guitar based, like centered. So we definitely bring like a little bit of like a rock element to it. Yeah, I think I probably I would say my main influence is kind of like the indie rock like kind of stuff. So I kind of bring a little bit of that to the table, but I definitely am getting into more like soul R&B type of stuff, like kind of recently.
Right.
Which I definitely kind of want to go a little bit more in that direction too, like with my own music. So it's definitely been good because I've definitely learned a lot from playing with them, because it's a different style of music than I've played in bands before, because I've been in rock bands mostly. So going into like a neo soul band, it's a lot more just jamming and more improvising,
Right.
which I really love doing. I know some musicians don't like doing that. They like to play tight and they like to play it as written. But definitely getting on a track with them live and just kind of like, you know, jamming on it for 5-10 minutes or whatever it is. It's really fun.
Yeah, that shit's very like I like, and everyone's on the same page, like when you guys are performing. That's one thing I've noticed. And then Dean, you actually came to the when it was Prime Society Color 8 Roswell Toddy. You came to that show as well.
I did go to that show.
And River Smith, I think it was
River Smith.
Yes. Holy fuck. Like that was like my first-hand experience with Prime Society. And like I just like you can like see the chemistry. Dean, can you agree with me on that? Like you could see
No,
like the chemistry.
honestly, like I think seeing it, like seeing any like band live, really like it just really like it helps you understand like how I guess just how like each like band member just kind of like it really helps you understand the chemistry a lot better when you're there in person, as opposed to just like, you know, like hearing it or streaming it or whatever, you know,
Right.
whatever source you're
Mhm.
hearing it from.
Emilio, I've kind of been meaning to ask you. Um, I like when I was in middle school, I thought I was like some like crazy god, and like I had some like weird complex, but I loved metal music and I always thought I was gonna be like a metal musician. Do you listen to metal music, and do you have like any inspiration from that?
I was actually almost the same way in middle school. Like I was very into it, and I was very condescending towards any type of like pop music,
Yeah.
which yeah, I was playing it a lot on guitar. Like I was into, I mean, Metallica, Megadeth, like
Of course.
The thrash metal ones,
The fundamentals.
the fundamentals, and then like even heavier stuff. Like, well, I actually really got into Avenged Sevenfold. Like they
Oh,
were,
I love them.
yeah, and Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine. Those two were pretty big for me. My guitar was like tuned in like drop C a lot of the time, just like chugging along on those, which, and that was like kind of the first music I started making too, was very influenced by that. It was just like metal guitar music.
Right.
And
Could that
I
be
wanted to
one?
just,
Oh, sorry.
oh, and I wanted to just be like the shredder. Like I just wanted to like play as fast as I could, like
Yeah.
show off. And it's like, yeah, looking back now I'm like, I'm playing like two notes over like a jazz progression, and I'm like, oh, this is like awesome.
Yeah. No, all music's awesome, but I was gonna ask, like, I might have a similar experience, but I want to ask you first. Could that be the reason why you got your first guitar?
I think so. It was more like, yeah, I want to be like that guitar guy. Like I want to be that like shredder, like cool. Like it felt like it was really cool back then.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like kind of starting to die out, but I definitely thought that was really cool.
Because there were two songs, and I still remember them to this day, that made me like force my mom to buy a guitar for me when I was 11. And the first song was Backcountry by Avenged Sevenfold. And the second
Yeah.
one was Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. It was those two
Yeah.
songs. I was like, Mom, I swear to fucking God, you're gonna buy me this guitar, and I'm gonna learn those two songs. I'm gonna perform it for you guys in a week. Just buy the guitar. I never
Wow.
learned them, but those were the songs that like made me want to get the guitar. So I feel like that's like with a lot of guitarists too, that like start off like young, like damn, like metal,
Yeah.
like I want to play metal music.
Yeah, because it's the most guitar heavy stuff, and it's you can just learn it and like show off, and people will think you're really cool.
Yeah.
And I started doing covers probably when I was like 14. So this was like 2010. I did, what was that song? Beast in the Harlot. I did a cover of that.
Oh,
I put it on YouTube. It didn't really pop off, but I mean, looking back at them, it's like pretty cringe because they weren't the best. I felt like I was pretty good like for my age, but in general, it was a little shaky. But yeah, I did that, and then I eventually got really into Van Halen.
Van
So
Halen.
like,
Eruption
I guess,
is the first thing that
yeah,
comes to
no,
mind.
I did Eruption at a talent show in high school.
Perfect. It's like,
So
bro,
that kind of
all
tells you,
guitarists are the
all
same.
all you need to know. Yeah, yeah. I was 15 years old. I was yeah, up there playing Eruption, but that was kind of, I feel like that was kind of the peak, because then after that I started I guess getting into, yeah, it's more like rock. Like I think the transition from metal to me, for me, was like it was going into I started getting into like the White Stripes
Right.
a little bit, and then like
Ooh.
yeah, Jack White's amazing, but and then his other band, like the Raconteurs or whatever it's called, they're really good. Started getting into them, and then the transition into indie was like Two Door Cinema Club, which
Oh,
I feel like is a good transition because
great transition.
it's very guitar heavy. So there's that. But I was like, oh, this is like too easy. Like I could play this like so easily. It's like, what's the point? But then I eventually started getting like, well, it's not it's not about like how hard it is to play. It's like if it sounds good, you know, or if it
Is
has
it
like,
fun?
yeah, it's fun. If it has like emotion, like if you're like, it doesn't have to be hard.
Exactly.
But it was weird because I was in my dorm at ASU. I was like a freshman, and one of the people on my floor was just blasting a Two Door Cinema Club song. I think it was What You Know, or like one of the more popular ones. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I really want to like get into this type of music, but I don't really know how. And then I kind of like found out what the song was, got on like Pandora, just started listening to a bunch of stuff on there. That led me into like Walk the Moon, 21 Pilots. I had a huge 21 Pilots phase.
As everyone does. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I won't get into. I pretty
We
much
all
had
do.
a whole.
We all do.
Yeah, I made a whole like album back in like 2015 or so, and it was completely different from what I'm doing now. But it was like piano based, and it was like pop, and it was pretty heavily influenced by 21 Pilots.
Oh damn.
I felt like it was good like at the time. Going back, it's like a little bit cringe, but yeah, the influence got to that point where it was like it was taking over like all the music I was writing.
Hey, it builds character. It builds character.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
All the roads lead to that. Yeah.
I feel like I had a similar. Oh, sorry, dude.
Oh no, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I had a similar kind of like coming into like the whole like indie thing, and like the whole like more instrumental instead of the metal. It's like I'm gonna fucking eat my dog ass shit, you know. Like,
Mhm.
but mine was more with Mild High Club.
Mild High Club. Yes, they're really good.
Dean, what were you gonna say?
Sorry, I was gonna say, like, I feel like at this point Emilio's definitely a jack of all trades.
Easily. That's like
Easily.
one of the biggest things I've collected.
Yeah.
This man knows it. He knows the
I
ins
did,
and outs.
Yeah, I did EDM before too. That was a little bit of a phase.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's a little bit off the wall. I made a dubstep remix of you remember the song Counting Stars by One Republic?
Yeah.
Yes.
I made a dubstep remix of that. And it has 20 million plays on SoundCloud.
Wow.
This was in 2013 that I made this.
There's a
It's
chance
still
I might
on
have
there.
heard this. Or
Yeah,
maybe
I've actually had the experience of like one time I told someone that I made that, and he's like, "Oh, I've heard that before."
oh my god, dude, that has to be like one of the most like refreshing feelings right there.
Mhm. But it's like I didn't really like continue too much with it. I made a couple other remixes, but I started getting in from dubstep into like house music, and then it was kind of like I had like two like parallel music tastes. Like I was either listening to like all this like house and dubstep from my like SoundCloud, or I was listening to like the Red Hot Chili Peppers
Right.
and like Cage the Elephant. Like it was just two things that just didn't mix.
Speaking of jack of all trades, this one's gonna make Dean do some like backflips in his chair, but Rina Sawayama. You listen to Rina Sawayama?
Yes.
I can't say that I do.
Oh, that's I suggest like whenever you get the chance.
Okay.
Her Sawayama album.
Mhm.
And she did was it an Avenged Sevenfold cover or a Metallica cover? Dean, you showed me in the car one time.
Yeah, it was a cover of Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
And it was phenomenal.
And she's a singer?
She's a singer. She's more of a pop artist, but I
Okay.
think you would definitely like her for sure.
Oh,
It's like
definitely.
super experimental pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
No, I love anything like pop. Like that's kind of I feel like that's the core of like most of the music I've written has just been like I always wanted to have a hook. Like no matter
Right.
what genre it is. Because I really like Foster the People. And the singer for Foster the People, Mark Foster, he used to be a jingle writer. That was his career before making like Pumped Up Kicks and all that. So like I can definitely hear that going back in his music. Like all their songs like have some kind of hook to it, which is like very influential to me because I want it to have a hook. It's just like something you can hold on to.
Right. Speaking of
Interesting.
oh, sorry, Dean. I keep cutting you off. This is my bad.
No, you're good. I'm cutting you off. It's all good.
No, I'm cutting you off.
That's what happens on Zoom.
Speaking of jingle writer, okay, this is gonna be like kind of like an insane question, but like I'm dying to know. Pusha T, did you? I don't know if you knew, but I found this out recently. Pusha T wrote the jingle for McDonald's.
Really? Like the
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like he wrote that shit.
That's crazy.
Would you ever like what like if you were to write a jingle for a company or a business or whatever, who would it be? Which company
Ooh,
would it be? It's a
that's a
crazy
good
question.
one. I know a lot of them already have good ones. I mean,
If you had
Home
to, or
Depot.
like you could replace one.
Huh.
Home Depot
There's-
just has the Yeet Bell.
Yeah. Trying to think. You know what? You know who doesn't have one? I don't think has one is Chipotle.
Oh,
And I eat at Chipotle probably multiple times a week. So I think I would owe it to them.
we all need to go one
Then
day. We all need to
again-
take a Chipotle trip.
Yes.
I'm
Very
down.
down.
Let's do it.
That sounds amazing right now.
Oh,
I had it today actually. It's my main go-to.
right. I'm like kind of like I don't know what magnets me towards this, but holy shit. Like this is every restaurant I go to. Someone will be like, "Oh, damn, you know like the In-N-Out, it's like super cheap. Like you can get like food there for like $6." And I'm a hungry ass motherfucker. Like I had a time where I was eating 3,000 calories a day for like 5 months straight. And because of
Wow.
that, I can eat a horse most of the time wherever I
Yeah.
go. So I'll end up going to these restaurants. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me catch like a $6 meal, and I'll be paying like $17, and that happens the most at Chipotle. You
Yeah,
need to put steak, you need to put queso, you need to put whatever the fuck else is expensive. Put the guacamole in there too. I know that adds $3.20. Put it in there, bro. Make my meal $17, please. But I don't know why that happens to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, I mean, it's gone up. Like my order from Chipotle is probably like, yeah, $17. Just
You
like
get the
getting a
steak
drink.
queso.
I usually get I usually go chicken, but I get queso and guac, so
Yep.
that's extra. And then I've been getting chips recently, like with the bowl.
Oh. See, I'm a carnitas guy, but
carnitas
but
are
I
good.
always ask for extra beans and extra rice, because then they don't charge you for that.
Oh, that's
Dang.
cool. I actually used to be vegan, and
Oh.
I went to Chipotle a lot during that, because if you just get beans and rice and you get no meat, even like if you don't get like sofritas or anything, you get free guac,
Yeah,
which is
yeah, I heard about that.
the hack, but it's good.
So you make them put the
Kinda-
guac in the burrito, and then you say, "Oh wait, psych! I actually
Yeah.
want steak in my shit."
Ooh,
What are they gonna do? Charge you for guac? Go fuck yourself. You know, like
They'll just charge you for the steak instead.
yeah. Then I'm fucked.
I mean, you can go there. I think you can just get rice and beans, and it's probably like $2. Like I think they charge it based on like if you don't get meat or anything, I think it's cheaper.
Yeah, I kind of like the Chipotle rice is like okay, but me and Dean actually yesterday we ate fancy, right? Like we went to like a fancy restaurant that no one's heard of. They charge like $500 a meal. Like no, I'm kidding. It was Gen Barbecue. We went to Gen Barbecue, Korean barbecue, and
Okay.
I have a problem. Like I eat the rice at Gen Barbecue. Like it's the only thing I'm allowed to eat, and I can only eat it like for like a month at a time. Like I'll just be eating the rice there. So like I don't know if I do that at Chipotle, but that's definitely like some Chipotle life hack right there.
Yeah,
the
their
rice
rice
and the
is pretty
beans.
good. I mean, I'm definitely more if I was just to eat just rice, I definitely like fried rice. Like I like Thai fried rice and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
Easy,
good.
easy.
But yeah, I was big into beans and rice when I was on the vegan kick. It was actually so. Do you know the band Wolfpack?
No. I don't think I've-
They're kind of like a funk band. They're kind of modern, but I mean they do a lot of you could say it's kind of like 70s influence. But circling back, the main band leader, he went through this whole thing in like 2017 where he was becoming like plant-based, and he was doing all these like plant-based videos. So that kind of like inspired me to do it. And I started just eating like a lot of rice and beans and trying to cut
But
out
you're
meat
not
stuff.
like vegan anymore.
No, I fell off like in the pandemic. Like there was just one
Oh,
day
yeah.
where I was like, the chicken from Chipotle sounds really good right now. And that was my downfall. Like haven't gone back since then.
besides being a co-CEO of the Job Hunt LLC alongside Dean over here, I actually work another job. I have like an office job. And one of my
Okay.
old coworkers, congratulations to him, he just got a job with Blue Origin, the guys that sent Jeff Bezos to space. But
Yeah.
he was he was such a cool guy. But he came up to me one day, and this is on like March. Let me make this clear. This was on like March 30th. I went up to him and I was like, "Yo, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. Do you want something?" Yeah, sure. Like, he's like, "I want like an 8-piece chicken McNugget or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I go and get the nuggets. We're fine. April 2nd, I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to Chick-fil-A again. Do you want something?" "No, I'm vegan." I was like, "What the fuck? You weren't
2 days
vegan like
later.
4 days ago." He says, "No, I'm seasonally vegan." And I was like, "Oh, like for like
Seasonally.
months at a time?" And he's like, "No, every even month of the year I'm vegan." And I was like, that can't be healthy.
Every even month. Yeah, because you probably need a month just to reacclimate your body. I mean, when I first went vegetarian, it was rough for a little bit.
Oh,
Like
I'm
I just
sure.
felt like I had no energy. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You said he
Usually,
went to Blue Origins,
yes.
or is he like an engineer or something?
Yeah, aerospace engineer.
Okay, I'm actually a mechanical engineer. That's my day job.
That's crazy.
Wow. Mechanical engineer and
Mechanical
jack of all
engineer.
trades, guitarist, and
Yeah, this
holy
guy just
cow.
does everything. Do you know how to
Just
milk
does
a
it all.
cow?
No,
Ah,
I've never
got
done
him.
that before. I wouldn't really want to if I had to.
Yeah,
No longer a jack of trades, sorry.
No,
yeah. You've
I
got your
can't milk
title
a cow. I
revoked.
can't. Yeah, I can't build a house. I don't have any like handyman skills, but I'm a
That
desk
happens.
engineer.
I was in school for industrial engineering for
Okay.
2.5 years. And you know what they did? They kicked
What?
my ass out of that. They kicked my
What
ass.
happened?
You went to ASU, right?
Yeah,
IEE 380, the probability and statistics
I have
class.
heard about that class, and I never took it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's to say the least. I'm in math now, and I have like a statistics emphasis.
Mhm.
But that class is like rigged. That's the class that like they have like manipulated for some reason that will kick you out of their school. I took it one time and I got a 63 in the class, and I was like, ah, shit. I have to take it
Wow.
again. And this time I'm gonna take it with a different professor. I'm not gonna say her name because I really like I'm not a fan of her. But
You're not gonna dox her.
I'm not gonna dox her. But I took it with her, and holy shit, I had like a 75 in the class, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like I'm gonna pass this class. I'm excited. I took the shitty ass exam 3 in that class, and yeah, my grade tanked. It went to a 68, or no, sorry, it went to like a 64, 65. And then I did the project that they make you do, and it got me up to a 66 or 67. It was something. But I took the final, and I was like, holy shit, I need like a 70 on this final to pass the class. And I didn't pass it the first time. You need to believe me that I'm gonna pass it this time. So I spent like all week studying, and I took the exam, and come to find out that yeah, I failed the class. I failed the class again. I failed. I got a 68 in the class, and then but apparently if I got one more question right on the exam, I would have passed the class. So I went to my professor and I was like,
That's so tragic.
Oh
yeah, I was
no.
like, hi professor, the situation happened, and yeah, you can give me like one extra like question right on the exam. And come to find out, she's also the head of the academic integrity department at ASU. So you know what she said to me? She said, fuck you. I was like, damn. And then I was like, well, I'll retake it. But then they were like, no, you're not retaking it. You're like behind now, and you just have to switch your major. And I was like, all right, well, there go my plans to be an industrial engineer. You know, but
Yeah,
damn,
I mean,
I was gonna say, what do you do with mechanical engineering?
I'm a facilities engineer. So I work in like mechanical facilities, so like chiller plants, cooling towers, things like that. I don't want to like dox my company, but I'm in the semiconductor industry.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Very crucial
Yeah,
industry.
it's pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty big right now. And there's a lot going on. I mean, there's like a shortage of chips and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
it's been I've been there like 3 years.
So what are you doing it? Like, are you like in the design thing, or are you in like more of the like assembly type of mechanical engineering? Like I don't
I
know
would
how
say
to.
I'm more yeah, I'm kind of more in like the operation side.
Oh, okay.
So like there'll be we have like designers that are kind of like contracted, so they do like designs, and then we kind of go with like the operational side. So kind of the systems when they're operating. So we're kind of making sure that the set points are good and things like that. It's a little bit of like, you could say, statistics with kind of looking at trends and things like that.
Right.
So it's interesting. I don't know if I'd want to do it forever, but it was a really good job right out of college, for
Damn.
sure.
And so I have to ask you one more question about the mechanical engineering. So are you a heat transfer warrior? MAE, whatever that class was.
Ooh,
Heat transfer.
heat transfer warrior.
Did you
I
pass the
took
class?
well. I didn't take a class called heat transfer. I took one called intermediate thermodynamics. I think so. Like a couple of years after I graduated, they split it up into like thermo and heat transfer to like 2 different classes.
Mhm.
But when I was in it, we just kind of did it all in one class.
Oh, okay.
But I had a pretty good professor for it, which really helped out. And we didn't get like super in depth with heat transfer, but it's a lot of what I do at my job now. I mean, we have heat exchangers, we have basically refrigeration cycles. So like definitely the thermo classes, it wasn't my favorite class, but it's definitely been the most helpful in terms of like my job.
Oh,
I was more
Interesting.
into I'd say like solid mechanics and like materials. So basically like problems where you have like a beam and kind of like different loading and stuff on it. That was probably my favorite kind of stuff. I was like a TA for like one of those classes. So it was fun.
Dang.
I was gonna say, oh shit, I actually sent that to everyone. But oh, we just got exposed. Me and Dean send each other messages sometimes on here. But usually we play this little game, and I know for a fact you don't know what the game is, right? Because you didn't read the chat.
Nope.
You don't know what this is. You have no idea what's happening. But we played it with Woozy, we played it with Rosa Toddy, we played it with Tyree, and now we're gonna play it with you. Back on the
Okay.
music thing, I feel like the whole Chipotle thing just sent us somewhere. It's called
okay.
we don't have a name for the game yet, but it's the
It's a
car
card
game.
game.
It's the car game. So like
Okay.
we're gonna shoot you a car model. Dean always starts. We're gonna shoot you a car model, and you're gonna say like which one of your songs you would like play in that car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty simple stuff.
If you would like to play that game. If you don't, let us know.
So you have
No,
to
definitely.
tell us the song that you would play in that vehicle, and then you have to give us your reason as to why.
And then you have to give us your social security number.
Yep.
Okay.
Very
I
important.
have it memorized. So
All right, Dean, start us off.
All right. First, we have a Tesla Model X Plaid.
oh, is that the one that's like actually plaid? Like it's like
It's like the
I
the
think
fastest one, I guess.
okay. If I had to play a song of mine in a Tesla Model S plaid, I have a song called "Feeling This Way," and I
Hmm.
think it would kind of fit the vibe.
Okay.
It's a little bit more down tempo, and it's kind of like smooth, which I feel like you get that a little
Electric
bit from
cars are
Tesla.
smooth. Yeah.
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 And
Okay.
it's got like has an electronic bass line that I made
Mm.
with a synthesizer.
There you
So
go.
then we got the electric. Okay.
We might
I
have
like
to
that. I
give him
like
the
it.
jack of all
First,
trades
but-
title back.
Nice.
All right. So let's say you were in a scenario where you were driving the fucking like the school bus, like the school bus, yellow, and like you're going on a field trip school bus. What song are you
Mhm.
playing?
Oh, the school bus field trip.
Considering there are no
everyone-
passengers. There are no passengers in the school.
No
It's
passengers.
just you. Yeah.
So I'm like driving to pick them up from the field trip.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to think. I have a song called First Rodeo. I think it would probably fit that vibe.
That was your
It's like
most
a-
recent single before your most recent one? Like that was
Yeah.
the one right before? Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of like a western adjacent twang to it. And I feel like it would fit for some reason. I don't know
Because
if
it's your first rodeo picking up those kids from the field
exactly.
trip.
And maybe
There we
their field
go.
trip, maybe their field trip is at a rodeo
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's their first
we're dropping some
they're
hypotheticals in here. I like
kids
it.
and they've never been to one. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So the next car we have is a brand new Toyota Supra with the windows down.
Okay.
With the windows down. Very important.
With the windows down. I would almost want to say feeling this way for that one, but I already said it for the Tesla.
Ooh.
Let me see.
Something sporty maybe, or
Yeah. I might go with a deeper cut, like from Origins.
okay.
Like maybe I have a song. Why can I not think of the name of it? Oh, Take Too Long. And I feel like that was very heavily synthwave influenced. And it's got a really driving backbeat to it. And I feel like it would kind of fit that vibe a little bit, because it kind of
Okay.
reminds me of those videos on YouTube of the synthwave tracks, and it's just got like a video of like a road, but it almost looks like it's like in like an
Yes.
anime or something, and it's like neon
Yeah.
lights, and it's got a road coming at you, and I feel like it would kind of fit that vibe.
Okay. I like that answer. It's
I
like
like that. Yeah.
it's like one of those like you go on YouTube and it's like one of those like screensaver like repeating like background things where it's just like the endless road and like palm trees and the neon and the synthwave
Yeah.
and all that stuff. I know what you mean. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good choice. And it is Take Too Long, is that the last song on the
It's
album?
the last song, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then that
Yeah.
fits it even perfectly. I always have that vision of last songs where it's like, oh, this is like the ender. This is
Yeah, and it's
like the
kind of just like
release,
right, and it just kind of like is just driving, and like it could go on forever, and
right?
it kind of just fades out. Yeah, I'm
That's
big into
awesome.
albums in that way, but I like to listen to them like in order.
Okay, you're in one of those trucks, and it's not like an 18-wheeler. It's not one of those, but it's the one that has like the horses in the back.
Okay.
And you're driving from Kentucky to Tennessee, and you're in one of those cars that has the horses in the back, and the horses are in the back. What song are you playing?
I mean, if I would have written Old Town Road,
It would have been
I
that
would
one.
have been that
Exactly.
one with the horses in the back.
Shout out that guy, whoever wrote that song.
Yeah, whoever it was, I think it was like
Yeah.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah, or something like that.
No. Who knows?
Well, I already said First Rodeo, so that I think
Dang
that
it.
one probably would have fit the best just by title alone. I mean, I have a song called Nothing Better, and I think maybe, there's nothing better than driving, with the horses in the back. So
Yeah,
horses in the back, windows down.
That
Kentucky
shit
to
would be
Tennessee.
stinky as fuck, but like you'll be on the freeway and like hopefully the smell goes away, you know.
Yeah, I know it smells crazy in there.
Oh, it has to smell crazy in there.
Yeah.
That's too easy. Do you ever, I feel like I've never like have asked this. Dean, you've never asked this, but like, do you find yourself listening to your own music a lot?
In the sense that I'm kind of listening to it to put myself in the shoes of a listener and try to think of what I would think of when I heard it, which is very difficult to do because all of my songs I've heard hundreds of times, just mixing them and stuff.
Right.
So I definitely, yeah, I wouldn't say I just like listen to it in passing because it kind of just, it would feel kind of weird. Like if I just like threw my own song on a playlist and just was like listening to the playlist, and then like my song came on and I was just listening to it like a normal song.
Oh, I know this song.
Yeah. I'll do like, I'll have like an album if I'm like working on, like when I was working on like 222, I had the whole album on my phone and I would kind of just like listen to it, excuse me, in the car, and just to like see how it flowed, see how it sounded.
The world renowned
that.
car test.
Exactly.
That car
Yeah.
test is crazy.
Yeah. I would say I do most of the mixing on like headphones, and I do the AirPods test because I feel like that's kind of how most people will be listening to it.
Yeah.
But definitely you got to do the car test too.
That's my brother, bro. My brother, he's like a really good producer, but he only produces. He doesn't like sing or
Mhm.
anything. But this guy will be like, Alex, let's go. I'm like, oh shit, where are we going? And he's like, we're going to the car. Like, oh, I know what's happening. He'll have like 10 beats lined up,
Yep.
and we'll just listen in the car to see if they're like, good. But so you do mix and master
I
your
know I'm
own
constantly
music?
trying to compare it to like other stuff. I do. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a professional by any means. I'm not even really familiar with what mastering actually is. Like, I kind of just, I'll throw effects onto the master track and then export it from there. But I feel like mastering would be like another process beyond that, which I don't really do. Like, I guess I kind of just mix it and I try to compare it to my other mixes and then like other songs just to see like make sure the volume levels are right.
Right.
Different things are hitting right. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like a pro by any means.
That's what the sound engineer is for. Shout out those guys. They don't get enough recognition.
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely have picked up a lot of things over the years. Like if I were to listen to older stuff that I've made, it's definitely improved quite a bit. But yeah, there's a lot of technical ins and outs that I don't really know. Like I think a lot of the stuff that I put out like probably has issues with like clipping or like I don't even really know the compression or like the refresh rate or something like that. It's like I just make it into like a WAV file, put it onto I use this thing called TuneCore, and then just like put it out from there.
Right. I actually made a song with Tyreek, and that shit's hilarious. I love talking to Tyreek because like we just like our energies like bounce off of each other. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But when I made a song called Uncomfortable, and I was listening to it and I was like, yeah, I need Tyreek on this. And so I sent it to Tyreek, and he recorded his verse, and I was like, all right, just send me the lyrics and then I'll like get to mixing and mastering. And then he was like, should I send it to my sound engineer? I was like, no, I was like, I know a good amount about like mixing and shit. So like I'll probably get around to doing it. And he just didn't stop asking. He's like, should I send it to my sound engineer? Should I send it to my sound engineer? I was like, well, I'm like, I haven't been working. Should I send it to my sound engineer? Should I send it to my sound engineer? Like, I was like, all right, just send it to your sound engineer. Just take it to the sound engineer. And honestly, those guys are lifesavers. They're like, if you're like a professional sound engineer, you need to be getting paid more than the artist.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like they do stuff where it's like I don't know how they're doing that.
Yeah.
And like, I bet you if I showed them any of my like mixes or whatever, they'd probably look at it and be like,
They'll
"What?
laugh.
Like,
You
what
know,
is
like,
this?" They would laugh at me.
yeah. Yeah, like here's my like take on it. If you know how to use like, do you use FL Studio at all?
No, I actually use this program called Reaper.
Oh,
It's a
Reaper.
pretty, yeah, it's a pretty basic like DAW, but it's like completely free.
Hmm.
They say that it's a 30-day trial, but in actuality, it never actually ends.
It never
Like you can just
ends.
keep using it. It just gives you like a 5-second countdown whenever you open it, and then after that, you just have like full functionality.
Damn.
Which like I've used it. I've probably used it for since like 2010. Like I've been like the only thing I've used because there was this guy on YouTube that made metal songs that I pretty much like copied when I was like 14, but he
Right.
used Reaper. I was like, oh, might as well use it. And then you can put VST plugins and stuff in it, and like it does a lot of stuff. But it's pretty simple, which is like nice. Which is kind of like all I needed for like what I was doing. I used Ableton. I used to use Ableton for the dubstep and like EDM and stuff.
Ableton's great for
There was like
EDM. Oh my god. I was gonna say, I'm a strict FL Studio user, and I've actually used
Mhm.
FL Studio so much that the company reached out to me and they said FL now stands for Leon Leon. So it's the
Okay.
Leon Studio. But no, so that was cringe.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but
So it's
that
not
didn't
free to
happen.
listen anymore.
That didn't happen. But yeah,
They
I
reached
use
out
FL
personally.
Studio, and what I was gonna say about FL Studio is like the mixing is if you know
Mhm.
how to use the fruity multi-band compressor, then you're a sound engineer to me. If you know how to use any multi-band compressor, you're a sound engineer.
Yeah. I mean,
Only
I'm not
standard.
even really sure what I mean, there's a compressor on Reaper, but I don't know if it's considered to be multi-band because it kind of just compresses the track. Like I'll put it, there's a ratio on it, which from what I've heard, you're supposed to put it at like 1.25. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I
It's
kind of just
subjective.
adjust the levels. Yeah, I just adjust the levels to where like, it brings up the lows and kind of brings down the highs and like compresses the track really. And then I
Right.
use like a EQ a little bit just to kind of bring out like if the guitar is sounding too bassy, kind of take out the lows. But I mean, I have like some like monitors that I try to like get stuff sounding good.
What kind of
And I know
monitors do
you're
you
supposed
have?
they're Yamahas.
Oh, yep.
I don't know which, they're like the ones with like the white speakers or like the white things. I don't even know like what like model they are, but
I don't know what you're talking about. Dean, for reference,
yeah.
they're the ones Harrison has.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I was like, I couldn't like imagine in my head, but now I do.
Yeah. I have those and Line 6 UX2 interface.
Oh, okay. Damn.
But
no,
yeah,
no Scarlet? No Scarlet interface? I feel like that's the
no
go-to
Line
nowadays
6.
for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I've literally had this same one for like 12 years.
Damn.
And I got the monitors almost 10 years ago. I got a hookup from this guy who was a manager of Guitar Center. I was playing in a band with him, and I was in high school. He was our principal's husband, and his daughter played drums. So we all like made a band together. And so I knew him, and
Oh, that's
he hooked
fun.
it up. He hooked it up pretty fast for those monitors, which was nice.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Imagine being
Yeah.
in a band with the manager of Guitar Center. That's crazy.
Talk about like a gearhead.
No, immediately. Gearhead,
Yeah.
instant surplus, like infinite surplus,
Yeah.
you're good.
I know.
That's
I'm not
the
even
plug
like
right
I'm
there.
not even like big into gear like that, but like if I ever needed anything, he'd definitely hook it up.
Right. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I just go in there and play the keyboards and like mess around.
Oh my god, no, I love doing that. Just going to Guitar Center and like putting my fingerprints on every single one of their instruments. That's one of my
Yeah, it's so fun. That was an underrated aspect of COVID that they took from us. Was
yeah.
that you couldn't go into Guitar Center and play the most expensive Roland or Yamaha keyboard in there.
So annoying. So annoying. I
Yeah.
actually tried one day. I went to the one in Gilbert, not Gilbert, in
Mhm.
Chandler.
Oh
And
yeah,
I was
I live
like,
I live right by that one. The one by the IKEA.
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I went to that one and I was like, oh yeah, let's fucking go. I'm gonna go to Guitar Center. I'm gonna play some instruments. And then I like walk up to the door and the manager walks out and he's like, hey, do you have a pickup? And I was like, so it's like that. I'm like, bro, I have my mask
It's
on,
like
please.
that.
You know, like
Yeah. I guess it's the hands too. Gotta have
Yeah.
like gloves, hand sanitizer, all that stuff.
bro, I'll show
But
up
I
in a
mean-
hazmat suit if it means I get to play at Guitar Center.
I know. I actually went there the other night just to like mess around, played like a bunch of keyboards. I
Yeah.
really like because I have my own keyboard, but it doesn't have certain things on it. So then I go to play the really expensive ones, and it has everything. So that's fun.
Yeah, we just have to start bringing studios over there. Like come with the monitors,
I
come with
know.
the interface, power cables, just plug it all in, make some shit over there. I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
No, yeah, it's kind of funny. There was this tweet like it was probably like 5 years ago that I saw, but it was like to this day probably one of the funniest things I've seen. It was this video of this guy in a studio, just like he's basically just making a track. He's like walking around, he's like playing the keyboards, and then he like has the drums behind it. He starts like tracking everything. Basically just a guy in a studio like making a track all by himself. But like the caption of the tweet was like, "Oh, this is like me when I walk in Guitar Center," and like all the employees are like, "Oh, this guy again." Like it was so funny.
Do you have a go-to song when you're like testing guitars at Guitar Center?
I play a lot of do you know the band Tennis?
Yeah.
I play a lot of their kind of just like chord progressions, like just on the guitars and like kind of see like how it sounds, and I'll just do kind of like a little bit of improvising. I feel like I think a big weakness of mine is when if someone were to just sit me down and be like play something, I'd be like I don't really know like what to play. Like I'd kind of just I would sit there like I don't know, I'd probably play like a John Mayer song or something. Or like
it's always a
Dancing in
safe
Burning
option.
Room. Yeah.
I always say one thing about Guitar Center and like testing guitars. And this thing is, if we weren't allowed to play Stairway to Heaven on those guitars, they wouldn't have made that song so fucking good.
I know. Like I learned that at a pretty young age. And yeah, it's just like it's forbidden for some reason.
It's probably just
I've made a
because
couple
it's heard so
TikToks.
much.
Yeah, I've made a couple of TikToks about the things you hear in Guitar Center, like Sweet Child of Mine. You'll hear that. You'll hear Thunderstruck. You'll hear someone like tuning the guitar into like drop D. Like you'll hear them like trying to tune it.
You'll hear that Metallica song. Nothing Else Matters.
Oh yeah, the one where you just have to play the open strings. Like you
Yep.
don't even have to like fret anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
That's
you'll
Guitar Center for
you'll
you.
probably hear the less I know the better, like if someone's playing a bass. Or you might hear I don't know, like Good Times by Chic or something.
Yeah. They're all valid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Maybe some Wonderwall here and there, you know, but
Yeah,
Wonderwall.
in the acoustic room, you go in that like the humidified acoustic room. Yeah, you'll hear Wonderwall. I go in there and try out like the banjos sometimes.
Yo, I need to learn how to play a banjo.
Yeah, they actually they have a banjo that's like a 6-string and it has the same frets and the same tuning as a guitar, which is like makes it a lot easier because a regular banjo, the tuning is just so off the wall. It's like an open tuning, and it's like anytime I have to learn like a new tuning, it's hard.
yeah.
I did get I got one of those lap steel guitars.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they're they sound kind of like I mean, they have that like Hawaiian like sound. So I've done a lot of TikToks with that. It's gotten me a lot of likes doing TikToks with the lap steel playing like SpongeBob songs and like sounding like exactly like it. And it's like it's uncanny like how close you can get it to sound, because like basically it was all recorded like on one of those.
You just need to
And if
drop
you have-
some EQ on there and you got it.
Exactly. Like I got it to sound like really close. And then people started making duets with it where I did like one of the transition sounds on the guitar, and then they would do a duet where they like blew bubbles into like a glass. So it sounded exactly just like a scene. And then like someone
From
would add on
SpongeBob.
top of it. Yeah, someone would add on top of it another duet and be like, Goo Lagoon, like Bob Dylan. And it was like, we're just making this like sound from scratch. So it was actually like a beautiful thing to see.
If it gets stitched enough times, it's just a full episode.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there you go.
Like I think one of them was stitched like 3 or 4 times, and it was like someone adding in like lines, and they were like doing impressions, and it was pretty cool.
Jesus
Ah,
Christ.
Goo Lagoon.
Goo Lagoon. Like
You got some
3 hours
computer
later.
wife Karen in there?
Yeah. This one guy did an impression of Mr. Krabs over one of mine, and it was like probably one of the better like impressions I've heard. Because it was like I have this other instrument called like a melodica, and it's like it's one of those keyboard things, and you can like blow into it. And I was playing that like that Drunken Sailor song like melody. And some guy did a duet with it, and he was like Squidward, and it was like it sounded exactly like the show. It was crazy.
Jesus Christ. Have you seen that motherfucker on TikTok with the hand pan?
With the what?
The hand pan? It's like that big like steel like like semi-sphere that you just like put on your lap. And you just, like,
the
smack
steel
it.
like
drum.
It has different notes, and it's almost like a steel drum, but it's like you like using your hand for it, and
Yeah.
it's like different notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Crazy.
seen those too. And
Yeah.
there's some crazy instruments out there that I definitely would want to get my hands on. There's
Yeah.
one called I don't even remember what it's like a harpeggi or something. And I saw a video of Corey Henry, who's a crazy good keyboard player. He was playing it and like singing like a Stevie Wonder song over it, and it sounded amazing.
Shit.
But it's like this thing it has strings, but it's like a big like board, and I think you just tap the strings to make them like make a sound, and it's kind of set up almost like a piano, like with the notes. And I wanted to get one, but I looked them up and they're like $5,000.
Yeah.
Holy
No.
cow.
Any like abstract instrument, have fun trying to find one for cheap. Like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Those
wanna get
hand
a-
pans. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, those are sick. And I want to get a pedal steel guitar too.
Right.
But those are, first of all, insanely hard to play. Like you have to learn it for like 10 years to be any good at it.
Jeez.
And they're probably pretty expensive too, but I mean they're pretty big in country music. They're kind of similar to the lap steel, but you can change the pitch of the string with like foot pedals. So
Holy shit.
like if you were sliding it and then you hit like a foot pedal, you can change the chord completely. And then some of them even have knee levers with your knees, and that will make it go sharp or flat. It's like that's too much for my brain to handle.
I'm sure
but
it's just
I-
like a lot and a lot of getting
Mhm.
used to.
But I love watching people play them. Like some of my favorite videos to watch are probably like demos of instruments from like virtuoso musicians, because they like just the stuff they play, like they're just sitting there like improvising or playing or whatever, but some of the stuff is like sounds amazing. Like I'll watch like a pedal steel guitar and they'll just be playing for like 2 minutes, but it sounds like great.
Right.
Or like someone like on like a keyboard or something on like Keyscape or whatever, like the like demos for it. Like
Yeah.
those are some of like the best videos.
Damn.
Yeah, there's one of Jacob Collier doing it, and it's like
Oh, bro, Jacob
Crazy.
Collier is crazy.
Oh,
I can't. There's this video. He did a performance with Daniel Caesar of his song "Best Part,"
Damn.
And I probably watched that video like at least 10 or 15 times. It's crazy.
Did you see Jacob Collier's his lecture that he gave about like music theory is a joke, and like you're not confident? That shit's crazy.
I think I've seen like the thumbnail on YouTube. I've probably seen like bits and pieces of it. But I think he has that attitude a little bit where he's like, you're like, I don't know, he doesn't really conform really strictly to music theory, but he has like all the ideas of it.
Yeah.
But if you listen to all the stuff he's doing, it's very like, it's not like he's like staying in one key or anything. He's just like moving around, and
Yeah.
that's like the stuff that I start to not understand, because like, I don't know, like you want to stay in like one key, which is what I usually do, but then when they start just like moving around chromatically and doing weird stuff, it's like it sounds good, but it's like, how do you know what's going to sound good if you're doing that?
That like there's a band me and Dean saw. We went to see Thank You Scientist. I don't know if you've listened to Thank You Scientist, but the guys that opened for Thank You Scientist, their name's Art Thief. Shout out to them. I love that band. It was the first one that came on, and they did a lot of shit like that. Like they were just like flying around on like the scales and shit. And they all like knew too. Like they'd be playing a song in like a 13/7 time signature, and then they'd be in like 4 different scales, and they all knew exactly what was going on. It's just like, damn, how do you even like?
So crazy to me. Like, yeah, there's certain like, it's like jazz or like jazz fusion. That's like,
and that's exactly what
like
they are.
that.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so crazy.
Progressive jazz.
It was funny. Fred Armisen did like kind of a bit about that. Like he does stand up, but he's like kind of centered towards the musicians. So he does like jokes on it, but he was on a drum kit, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna play 13/8 on the ride. I'm gonna play like 5/16 on the snare, and I'm gonna just play like 3/4 on the bass drum. So then he just starts hitting it like randomly, and then everyone cheers, and then he's like, yeah, I wasn't doing any of that. He's like, yeah, I just said that. I just said I was.
Oh God. Wait, what was his name?
Fred Armisen.
Oh, okay.
He used to be on SNL. He was on SNL and Portlandia.
Interesting. Fred. Okay, but I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fred, this is one guy that I've been listening to like a motherfucker, and I know you said you were into like that EDM.
Here we go.
Yeah, I know. This Fred again guy. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he has like his type of EDM. I wouldn't even call it EDM. Like, yeah, it's electronic music that I could fucking dance to, yeah, but like I wouldn't even call it EDM. He has some like weird like manipulation on like house music, is the way I see it, as like not really that electronic, but I would consider listening to him. That guy knows how to like capture your mood, put it in a chokehold, shove it up your ass, and tell you like it. Like
it's like some weird like progressive like house sort of music. Yeah.
Fred again.
Fred again.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look him up.
Definitely. I'll send you like all like the song recommendations, but we're low-key like running out of time. Dean, do you have any like final questions?
I actually do have a very important question. How do you grow such a magnificent beard?
Facts.
Thank you. First off, thank you. I guess just I mean, I've kind of just had it for since I could really grow it. Like ever since I was in like high school, I was like, whenever I have a beard, like I just want to have a beard, and I pretty much stuck with that since then.
Yeah.
It started out as like a chin strap. Like I only had a chin strap in high school, couldn't really grow a mustache. And then once I got into college, I started growing a mustache. Almost bailed out on it, but then I stuck with it, and it eventually kind of like filled in after a while. And then I guess I just kind of got into a routine of like trimming it and, you know, keeping it up. So I've gotten like, it's pretty second nature now. I guess I just kind of like trim it every now and then and try to keep it I've done different things. Like I've gone like really, really trimmed with it, which I didn't really like as much. So I kind of just like let it grow out. During the pandemic, I actually went to only a mustache at one point, just because I wanted to see how it looked. But I kind of regretted it.
I
Like,
did the same thing.
I would
I
never do that
I
personally.
I grew out all my, yeah, exactly. You would never do that. But
Never.
I grew out just like my full beard, and then one day I was just like, you know what? I wonder how a mustache would look. And then like, I just shaved everything off and I only had the stash. And then this is also when I had like my aviator glasses at the time that were like transition lenses. So I kind of looked
okay,
like a Chips, like a California Highway Patrol officer.
yeah, just like a
So
cop.
that
Yeah,
was the look. Yeah, exactly.
Is that how
that's
I
like
look
really
right
that's
now?
a little bit.
Kind of. Yeah.
Thank God.
You got the look going with the mustache and the aviators. Definitely. That's like big in right now though. Like, I mean, guys with mustaches.
It's
It's
huge.
made
Oh
me
yeah.
consider going to a mustache, but
You
I
gotta
kind
try
of
it.
yeah, I kind of immediately regretted it the last time I did it, and it took a while to grow back. So I was like,
You know whose mustache is crazy? I don't know if you guys were there for the whole show, but like when you guys performed at the Nile Theater June 10th, that show in the underground, Zahir,
mm,
his producer, his name is Jacob. That guy's mustache is nuts. Like it's very like it's like a basic mustache. Like there's no like crazy thing going
mm,
on with it. But I'm like, damn, I wouldn't want to see a mustache on anyone else except this guy
It
after
just
seeing his.
really fits his
It
face.
fits his face like
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
yeah. There's definitely some guys that will pull it off
Yeah.
very well, and like the chin is there and everything, and like it's thick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have some like
some guys are.
crazy like fear of people with like mullets and mustaches because they know something that we don't.
No, yeah, it's like they're just like intimidating because I feel like yeah, the look is very in right now,
Yeah.
and it's you can't really compete with it.
You can't. No, you can't. For a man that comes from Eastern European and Middle Eastern descent, I grow one of the flakiest beards. Like
Interesting.
my beard, it's like yeah, like I can like grow one, but there's maybe like
Mm.
100 strands of hair total on my
Total.
like yeah, no, I'm dead serious. Like where a beard would grow, it's like it grows here, 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 and like you can fucking count them. But my
Mhm.
brother has some like crazy beard. Like his is like full and like lined up and everything. It's a 3 test. It's like the top of the 3 here, and then the curve of the 3 goes down here. So if you have like the
That's
3
so
on your
crazy,
head, and DJ has the 3. He has the
dude.
3. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wish mine kind of went up like farther on my face.
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of gotten there in the like, past couple of years, but I don't know. It's not as full as I would like it to be.
Well, one day. Do you ever
One day,
consider using those like beard rollers?
beard rollers.
Yeah, it's like
I haven't heard of those.
it's this thing where like you roll like it's like this like device and you roll your face with it and it like supports it's supposed to like simulate like beard growth or something.
Oh, yeah. I've never. I feel like a lot of those aren't like. I don't know if that really works like scientifically. Like, I don't know if that's proven. Is it proven to grow hair?
I don't
They're
know.
not FDA approved.
Okay. I mean,
Well, maybe, I don't know.
I think a lot of that stuff is kind of like myths, like where you say like, oh, you shave it, it grows back thicker, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I think
Mm.
it just looks thicker at the beginning because it's coarser, but then once it gets longer,
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if you give a beard roller to an Armenian man that's coming straight out of middle school and like hitting puberty and they put it on their face and like they grow the beard, it's like, oh shit, this shit works. And it's like, no, bro, you just hit puberty.
I think what does actually work is like HGH,
What is that?
if human growth hormone, steroids basically. It's like
Damn.
I knew a lot of guys in high school like who played baseball and stuff or football. They took this thing that was like, I think it was adjacent to steroids, but it had like HGH in it or something, and those guys had a beard within like the next few months, and like they like hadn't had one before.
Damn.
So
Sounds like
that I
wow.
yeah, it's just a lot of I think it's just a lot of like testosterone or something. I don't know.
Probably. I know you can take like testosterone pills or something like that, or like
Mhm.
inject it or something.
Yeah, performance enhancing.
The Job Hunt
Yeah, pretty
LLC
much.
does not condone doing shit to
Yeah.
your body to look good. By the
Important
way,
disclaimer.
you are
Important disclaimer.
beautiful the way you are. Do
All
not
natural.
take shit. Do not.
Yeah, exactly.
All
No,
right.
no hormones, no performance enhancing drugs.
Exactly. Never do it. Well, Mr. Emilio, Function Space, we really want to thank you for coming on today. And Dean, do you want to lead us with the hiring process?
So the results have came back, and you're hired. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Bang.
It's that
Well,
easy.
I really appreciate it. I'm super excited to come on board and really help this LLC however I can.
We need a jack of all trades. We need a Chipotle lover. So you fit the bill.
We also need you to sign the W-2.
Oh, and
Okay.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have my 2 forms of ID, social security number.
Oh, you just
all
need
that
one
stuff.
with us. You're good.
Okay. Like a ASU Sun card.
Yeah, as long like
that
something that
work?
has your social security on it would work just fine. Your
Okay.
mid-first
I
bank
think
card or
that
whatever.
has it on there. I think my student ID number was my social. So
Oh, what was it?
I think
What was your student
I think it was like 1, 2.
name?
I still remember it. Well, because I go to the gym there still.
Oh, you
I get
do?
an alumni membership.
What? I didn't know they
Oh,
Yeah.
had those.
Yeah, if you still have you don't even have to have your Sun card, but if you have it, they use it. But yeah, you can get a membership if you're an alumni.
That's crazy. I'm
Huh.
where I well now I need to graduate. All right.
I go there and play basketball. The best
Oh,
place to hoop.
definitely. Well, Emilio Function Space, thank you for coming on today. Thank you for joining us for this interview. To everyone watching, thank you
Yep.
for watching. If you made it this far, damn, this one actually kind of went on like longer. But I hope you made it this far. If you didn't, you wouldn't even be hearing what I'm saying right now. If you did, thank you. We ask a couple things. One, like the video or dislike it. I don't know. Do something that boosts the fucking algorithm. To be honest, and then subscribe, and then do the notification bell, and then put it on like Facebook or whatever the kids use these days. Put it somewhere.
Share it.
Share it. Share that shit. Show it to your grandma. Show it to your
Yeah.
fucking like mom
Yes.
or like whoever, like if
Everyone and their brother.
yeah, maybe watch it with your dog. I don't know.
Yeah.
Make a subreddit about it.
Make a
for all I
subreddit
care.
about it.
Yeah.
A subreddit.
About this
You guys could
specific
have a
episode.
subreddit.
We need one. We need one.
Just the one episode. r/yeah.
r/ the Job Hunt LLC Function Space episode on June. Like just make some like crazy long title. All right. Well,
With a
everyone,
specific like timestamp.
there you go. Thanks for watching, and the next one's gonna be I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. Yeah. Cool. But
Cool.
Function
Thanks for
Space is
having me.
hired. Thanks for coming. Goodbye.
Thanks
YouTube.
for having me.